Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Well, here it is. It's Halloween. Interesting time of the year. And that kind of brings us to a topic that we're going to dig into today. And it's all courtesy of somebody who is very much plugged into intuition, superstitions, things like that. Ani, animal intuitive. Yes, she's an animal communicator. And we're going to talk about animal superstitions and how animals feel about them. Do they actually feel that? Do they actually feel superstitions? We're going to find out. Ani, how you doing?
Good, Steve. I'm very interested to talk about this topic. People talk about it all the time, right?
Absolutely. And okay, let's go with the first one. The black cat. Never cross the path of a black cat. I have to tell you, whenever I'm driving and there's a black cat down the road, I almost want him to go, or she, to go across the street and get out of the way, because in the back of my head, I like to avoid any superstition if I can. But it's horrible that black cats get a bad rap like that.
Totally. It really, really is. And that's one thing I do want to talk about. All these superstitions are actually, put yourself in that animal's, especially a domestic animal that really wants, a wild animal, it's different. They're able to protect themselves. I know that cats can, feed themselves and things like that, but they do, a lot of them that aren't, in other words, that it's a house cat, they want a home. And there's a lot of cats and dogs that just because they're black are not getting adopted.
Wow. That's so sad. And I'm sorry, I'm the same in terms of the superstitions. Like, I'm a little freaky. I'm good with it. I'd adopt a black cat in a second. But when you're driving and you see one that you don't know across the street, yeah, I think for me and some others, it kind of clicks in your head.
Okay. No, that's definitely because it's ingrained in a lot of our beliefs. We've seen it in so many movies. And funny enough, some of this started so long ago.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. The animal superstitions, what are some of them?
Okay. So for instance, black beetle, like that's a bad thing. It could be, if it crawls across you, it could indicate that there could be death or death around you or death of a loved one, things like that.
I've never heard that one.
Yes. And you know about owls, right? Like the whole thing about, like, if you hear an owl, it could be a good luck or a bad luck, because it depends where in the world you are to believe certain things. There are a lot of people that say, if you hear an owl hooting, it's good luck. But then there's other people that are freaked out by
it. I've never heard that one, but I knew there were superstitions surrounding owls. But okay, interesting. How about some other ones? Because a lot of people probably don't even know.
Okay, let's see. Ones that people don't know. Okay, how about pink dolphins? Have you ever heard of that one?
Say that one more time.
Pink dolphins.
Didn't even know they existed.
Yes. So they're supposedly in the Amazon, and it's saying that that this superstition is about that they were once human and now they have transformed from that to a pink dolphin, that they're a great omen, that they're for safety, things like that. Like if you see a pink dolphin, and they're in the Amazon, like around the Amazon area.
Wow. Okay. Huh. Wasn't even aware that was a thing. All right. The things you learn here. But then again, where I am, there's black deer. Have you ever seen a deer that's black?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
One little spot. It's sort of like a little sanctuary. I go kayaking every once in a while there. And somebody told me about them, and sure enough, I saw them, and they're like more of like a dark brown, but you can see some black. It's like, it's amazing, but you don't know until you know. So animal superstitions, do animals themselves have superstitions? Got to ask.
No, that's a human thing. I've never had an animal tell me that, ever. So that's definitely a human thing. and it's just interesting that animals, that we have this about animals, right?
Say that again.
I think it's so interesting that we have that about animals, how it started, how long, for how many centuries this has been going on.
And animals are so, like, most of them. Why did it start with a black cat? I mean, it's like black cats aren't any nicer or not than any other breed of cat. But where do the superstitions come from?
Okay, so to my knowledge, like the black cat comes from, the 1600s, and it was people that were, a lot of the majority of people too back in those days, they were very, very religious too. Everybody was involved in a church, things like that, because it was part of their community. Okay. And so it's kind of like, oh, well, if you have a black cat, or if you have a cat around you, you must be a witch, especially if you're a woman. Like, black cat for sure.
Yep. I've heard that before. And yes, a lot of the superstitions are religiously connected.
Very, very much so. For instance, in the, let's go back even farther. In ancient Egypt, all cats are sacred. They were all sacred. Cats were all sacred in ancient Egypt. They were connected to the god Ra, and it was like about, not just about rebirth, but also to connect you to. In other words, they're very spiritual. Okay, cats, and that is actually true. Cats are spiritual.
I didn't know that. Why are they spiritual over dogs?
Well, no, it's just different, because cats have a tendency just in their nature to also characteristic kind of things that it's easier for them to kind of reflect energy compared to dogs absorbing energy. And and I'm not just saying this from my personal opinion. I've had animals tell me this. Like, I'm there to help this person through cancer, and then you'll realize that the dog gets cancer. Now, cats can too get an ailment, but it's different because, like, again, this goes back to soul contracts, folks. Okay, please. We did speak about that, and you can go to my website, Ani Animal Intuitive, and listen to the recorded podcast, or you can go to Simplecast and listen to it there. There's a bunch of recorded podcasts that Steve and I have already done together, and that's one of them.
What do animals feel about us having these superstitions?
Okay, so...
And are they aware? Are they fully aware that, the black cat means something, or the dolphin means that?
Okay, first of all, some of them are confused. Some of them don't understand why we are why we're, okay, for instance, like a black dog or a black cat. Can you imagine sitting in a shelter? Why are they passing me up? Okay. And they don't understand it. And they are kind of like, well, because they know that they have this color fur. They're aware of that. But they're not aware why we are treating them differently. What is the reason? Like, They hear us and how we're reacting, but why? It's like, but what did I do wrong? What did I ever do to you?
I got it. So they're aware that something's up, but they're not sure exactly what it is.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. That's sad. Jeez.
Yeah.
The same thing. I just had a flash in my head about the fox. People think that they're sneaky, conniving, and they've always got that bad rap, and even some superstitions against them as well.
Well, I'm here to tell you, and this is scientifically speaking, that foxes actually are more easily domesticated than a wolf is.
Never knew that.
Yeah, I watched a documentary on it. It was really fascinating. Yeah. So foxes are super sweet. They can be loving. It's supposedly like a Chihuahua descendant. They're a descendant from a fox, not a wolf. That's what I've heard. Things like that. But like, for instance, like coyotes, right? You hear about coyotes. Oh, they're tricksters. Oh, coyotes are, yeah, they're a wild animal and they have their own agenda and it's to have their own experience. Yes. But, you know, man started all of these things because of religion or because of something that was happening, mythology. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it wasn't because the animal is like that.
Gotcha. You know what? I just had a flash in my head too. The coyote got the bad rap from Bugs Bunny. Wile E. Coyote. Right?
But that's true. Do you see how far it's gone? You know what I mean? Like it's in movies, it's in cartoons, it's, you know, it's kind of like, wow, you know, and like the lucky rabbit's foot. How many rabbits have lost a foot over that? You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, didn't even think of that. Oh, I don't want to think of that.
Right. How yuck. So that's why I'm saying, like, look at what I'm saying is it's not what you think, in other words. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. Yeah. So where do we go from here? Like, what do we do to look at animals from a different perspective, or just kind of just abolish all of these, I don't want to say crazy superstitions, because if you believe in them, they're not so crazy.
Well, all I'm asking is to let us remember, I mean, just even for a moment, that they're here to teach us, to support us. Animals are here, domesticated and wild, for many different things, to have different experiences in your life. And so it's also very important that we look beyond and past that. Look into their eyes, feel their soul. It's not the outside envelope. It's more of what is in the inside that you're connecting with. So if you're connecting with a white cat, let it be because that's what you feel in your heart, that you should adopt the white cat. Not because it's not the black cat. That's all I'm saying. So look beyond. Let's close our eyes, breathe, and really focus on the inner instead of the outer shell.
And don't believe everything you hear just because somebody says that this, you know, animal is this, or whatever you might be hearing doesn't mean that it's true.
Correct. Exactly right, Steve.
I just can't, I can't get over what superstitions are out there, because the more I think of them and how sad it is for animals not getting adopted or just getting a bad reputation. And then, like, to your point, back in the day, there was, what was his name? The skunk. And
oh, yeah.
Pepe Le
Pepe
Pew. Pepe Le Pew. And all it took was, and she wasn't happy about it, but the white paint stripe on the black cat, people would think right away that she is a skunk. Well, it's kind of the same thing. That black cat that we all fear, for whatever reason, if that cat, if hair was dyed to white, and it was a white cat, it'd be totally different. It's the same exact cat. It's just the perceptions that we have in our minds about it.
Right. Exactly.
Where do you go from there in terms of our animals, knowing that we think certain things of them? It's even certain dogs, we might have a certain perception of them, but it's not actually true.
Well, like, for instance, it's so important. Let's just take a minute and say, okay, there's also a difference between a message and a superstition. If an animal is sending you a message, like, for instance, if you see a cardinal, there might be a loved one that is in spirit that is trying to send you a message. That's different than a superstition. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Black crows. Black crows aren't bad at all. They're actually very spiritual animals. And so are ravens.
And it's a complete opposite. You see a black crow right away. You're like, I don't know. You get a lot of people get an uneasy feeling from that.
Exactly. I had to do some research on that because my last name means raven or crow. It's a Spaniard last name, and it means raven or crow. And so I was like, oh my gosh! When I found out about it when I was a little kid, I was like, oh my gosh! And so I looked it up. But let me tell you, it's not. It's actually good omen. They're very spiritual. So it's not a bad thing at all.
Again, it goes back to don't believe what you hear, because you might hear one thing here and then you might hear something else from somebody else and it's totally different.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to take a short break and come right back. We're talking about animal superstitions and how they connect with us. And she connects with animals. She's Ani, Animal Intuitive. Why don't you give everybody your website? Oh,
my website is ANI, that's Ani, animalintuitive.com. And Steve, did we have a mini reading today? Because I believe there was one.
Let me double check. We're going to go to the break and then we'll come right back.
Thanks.
Hang tight.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
The best way to describe Mickey D's crispy chicken sandwich is crispy, juicy, tender. And yes, it's all one word. Crispy, juicy, tender is like 5 lit smacking, trap bass crunk, child tea, ooh wee, and then some. Everything you could want in a chicken sandwich. McDonald's crispy chicken sandwich.
It gets even better. Try our new crispy chicken sandwich paired with medium fries and a medium Sprite for only $6. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision.
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Parallels Desktop, the #1 choice of Mac users to run Windows on Mac. Windows applications run effortlessly. Parallels Desktop is seamless and fast. Whether you need to run a Windows program, develop or test, game, or just looking for the ultimate flexibility without having to restart, you're completely covered with Parallels Desktop for Mac. Fast, powerful, and easy.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we're jumping back in on Halloween. We're talking about animal superstitions with Ani, Animal Intuitive. Yes, she's an animal communicator, and you can communicate with us, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. Kelly checks in from Camden, New Jersey, and says, I don't know if this is a superstition, but I've heard that the saliva of a dog has healing powers. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, it is a superstition. And actually, it started in ancient Rome and Greece. Total superstition. They do, any animal can have bacteria in its mouth. And so it's not that great of an idea. The Komodo dragon actually has horrible bacteria, not bacteria, but it's like, it really can affect your skin. It can make you ill. So, no. The answer to the dog thing is no, it's not true.
Gotcha. And, I guess that's why when some people wake up first thing in the morning, they say, I've got dragon breath. Stay away from that. Let's go to line 3. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Keisha.
Hey, Keisha, checking in from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Ani, Animal Communicator, is with that. Say hi.
Hi. How are you? So my dog, Pudgy, I believe she has, behavioral issues.
Okay, don't tell me too much. Let me just connect with her and see what's happening because I have her picture.
Uh-huh.
So let me just connect with her and see what's happening. Okay, so she's telling me, yes, I get jealous.
Oh, wow.
She's telling me I get jealous. She says, I'm tiny but mighty. I have to stand my ground, she says.
Oh.
So she feels that because she says, I do also want to get my way. Does that sound about right?
Yes, that does.
So she seems like a very strong animal.
Yeah, she's very she wants to get her way. She wants to. It has to be. I'm going to tell you what I think, and if you don't agree with it, well, hey, kind of thing. That's what I'm getting from her. Not a bad thing. She knows who she is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what question do you have for her? And please direct it to her. Remember, she does know. You don't have to go into detail because remember, I'm the go-between. So go ahead.
The question I want to direct towards Pudgy is that I want to know, why does she act out with certain things that are going on? You know, it may take me a few minutes to feed her or walk her, and she gets very excited about doing those things. And there may be times she even, acts like she's going to attack.
Well, because it's like, I want it now and you're not listening to me. And so, in other words, what I'm getting from her is it's very pushy. Like, why are you taking 10 seconds to do something?
Right.
She's also telling me she doesn't understand the concept of linear time at all. A lot of animals don't, but in her case, it's like, forget it. I don't understand it at all. Well, can't you just get it done in the second I need it? You getting it done? Like, come on, hurry up.
Wow.
Wow.
She's a little demanding there, isn't she?
Very. Yeah. It's got to be her way or the highway. I'm the one that tells you how it's going to be, and it's going to be like this, and that's it. So definitely she feels that she's the alpha over you.
Yes.
So, speaking from a dog mom, you do have to establish that you're the one that is the alpha. And if you do need to put her in timeout, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay, because she needs to learn that you're mama.
Yes.
And I know we're just about out of time, but I just got to throw it out here. It almost sounds like, same situation when it's a kid. Like, you got to set up your boundaries.
That's right.
Very much so. So you keep doing that, Keisha. You set the boundaries and tell her who's the boss. Because with her, what I'm getting is it's like, well, I feel like I'm going to tell you when I'm going to, and I don't want you to be 5 seconds late. Oh, wait a minute. Come on, who's the mom here?
Wow. All right. I love that. They're like people. I always say, whenever somebody comes, I said it yesterday, somebody came to my place and I said, yeah, my dog, that's a human in a dog suit. Look for the
totally.
zipper.
I can tell you it totally is. They may communicate a little bit differently, but they are, well, for me, my dogs are my kids.
Yeah.
And they do try and push us around sometimes, right? But you can't let it happen. Look, I have one of my dogs is very demanding about food. And she does it in a different way. She screams. I mean, she could throw herself on the floor and you just kind of have to walk away like they're having a temper tantrum.
Yeah, it is what it is. Mommy said this is the way it is. But Keisha, I appreciate you checking in. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, so we're just about out of time. If somebody wants to get a reading or connect with you in any way, how do they do that? Just go right to the website?
Yeah, you're going to go right to the website and you're going to go to AniAnimalIntuitive.com. You can go to, you can text me. My phone number's there, or you can email me. And if you want to just, if you know what you want, you can just go straight to Book Now page and click on there, and the directions and all the answers will be there. I promise. Yeah.
Love it. Ani, ANI, AnimalIntuitive.com. She does readings for everything. Animals that have passed over, in spirit, in body, animals that may have come from a shelter. And you're wondering, what's the story with that? She's here for that. So definitely reach out. Ani, always great having you on.
Thank you. Happy Halloween, everybody. Be really safe.
Happy Halloween. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.